Hello and welcome to my presentation, The Champions of Local History. My name is Derek Cram. I will be going over the Arab American National Museum in Dearborn and the Mount Clemens Public Library. The interesting thing for me in observation is that here we have two completely different institutions within library and information science profession. They go about presenting information in vastly different ways, and yet they both share a passion for local history. They are both community-oriented. They both have roughly the same number of personnel. They are both culture warriors dedicated to preservation of materials gathered. The Arab American National Museum is relatively new. Last year, in 2015, it celebrated its 10th anniversary. It is accredited with the American Alliance of Museums and is a Smithsonian affiliate, which is an honor granted to only 200 museums out of an estimated 35,000 in this country. It is known for its innovative exhibits, yet it still has the problem of budget constraints and scholarship accreditation for which its small staff strives to overcome. They have no full-time archivist. They are constantly on the lookout for private collections in hopes of convincing the collector to lend artifacts for display or provide donations. Researchers make contact a few times a month, mostly concerning a large group of artifacts donated by a local professor. They also host a grant program for foreign scholars to travel there to conduct research. This combines to add accreditation to the museum as well as to expand information on Arab American history. The Mount Clemens Public Library is one of the oldest in the area, going back to 1865. It also relies heavily on private donations for its special collections and has been very successful over the years at accumulating local artifacts, records, personal papers, photographs, paintings, and even maps, many of which are already digitized and available online. The archival system is very small, maintained by a librarian who stores artifacts in acid-free boxes for some unknowable future. There is a genealogy and local history room to complement the effort, and it even has a small press dedicated to publishing books on local history. It works closely with the Macomb County Genealogy Group and the Historical Society of Michigan and collaborates on local events. What these institutions really do well is to represent the deeper meaning of librarianship, which is the humanism surrounding information, the vast importance of communication using information about our world, and the great service provided through its care. This concept goes back to the beginning of such institutions and why they exist in the first place. One of the most famous libraries of the ancient world was, in fact, the Library of Alexandria. It started as the research branch of the Alexandria Museum. The Encyclopedia Britannica writes that libraries and archives were known to many ancient civilizations in Egypt, Mesopotamia, Syria, Asia Minor, and Greece, but the earliest such institutions were of a local and regional nature, primarily concerned with the conservation of their own particular traditions and heritage. That is exactly what my two observed institutions are doing today. Think about the kinds of groups that have destroyed or wish to destroy information. We're seeing it happen currently in Iraq and Syria, much like the Crusades in the 11th and 12th centuries. Destruction is something else that spans human history, emphasizing the fragility of knowledge and the value in preserving it. The societal obligation of information professionals was first diagnosed by Chicago librarians Margaret Egan and Jesse Shera in what they termed social epistemology, which is defined as the study of those processes by which society as a whole seeks to achieve a perceptive or understanding relation to the total environment. What the Arab American National Museum and Mount Clemens Public Library bring locally and worldwide is a passion for storytelling that engages people and enriches their historical knowledge. As Shera once wrote, the librarian can blind himself to these changes in his environment and follow the saber-toothed tiger to extinction, or he can see in them the vision of a new heaven and a new earth with boundless opportunities for extended and more effective service, and with them almost unlimited enrichment of the intellectual content of his professional practice. Thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed my presentation.